Hello everyone and welcome to Music Theory with GUIM. In this installment we're going to be taking a look at examples of both the French and German augmented sixth chords. These examples are brought to us by Franz Schubert from his piece Der Doppelgänger D957 number 13. And after the video, make sure you check the description below for relevant links if you wish to continue your edification. This is certainly a piece you want to hear in the context of a proper recording. For these examples, we'll be looking at measures 29 through 34, as well as 38 through 43. In this case, we're going to be looking at how an augmented sixth can be used in an atypical manner to produce very dramatic results. I find this piece to be such a thrill to listen to, and these augmented sixths greatly contribute to the absolutely gut-wrenching onslaught of emotions that are brought about in only a little over 60 measures. Anyways, let's pull up the sheet music and listen to the first of the two examples. We'll then analyze this example, listen to the second example, and repeat the process. So in this score, we're looking at the piece in the key of A minor, but there are many keys that this piece is played in. The example starts off on the 1 chord, A minor. We then proceed to the minor 5 chord, E minor in first inversion, and then the flat 3 chord, C major. In measure 32, however, we get this absolutely crushing example of a French augmented sixth. However, notice that it is not built on F, the flat 6 scale degree, which is where we would expect it. The augmented sixth chord is always considered to be a predominant chord, setting up a cadence of 5-1, right? So how are we certain that this is even an augmented sixth chord? Well, let's investigate and find out. Starting from the bottom, we have B flat, E, and G sharp. B flat and G sharp are our augmented sixth, while B flat and E create an augmented fourth, which is a characteristic interval of the French variant. Looking upward, we see that all of this information has been doubled, but also we now find the addition of D, the major third, in relation to B flat. As a result, we have all of the parts of a French augmented sixth, but does it resolve as expected? Well, in the bottom section, we see the augmented sixth resolves as expected in contrary motion to form the octave of A. Additionally, the E remains intact and becomes the fifth of A minor. In the upper section, we will also find that the augmented sixth is resolving as expected, even though it might not look like so. The G sharp is resolving upward to A, which is what we expect. B flat, however, looks like it's resolving to C, except it's actually not because we're already playing the A that it would be resolving to in the lower staff. This is because G sharp is resolving upward to the same A, which means we're going to find a diminished third between G sharp and B flat, and they are both resolving in contrary motion to a single A. We will also see D move downward in parallel motion to C, the minor third of A minor, which is typical for an augmented sixth to do, to see thirds descend in parallel motion, except it's normally to another major third. This, however, is not the case. Looking at the melody, it does nothing to contradict this analysis, as it reinforces the augmented fourth, E. Now we could analyze this as an altered dominant, like E7 flat 5 over B flat, which is a viable option, especially in a more modern context, but I feel that would miss the grander point, which is that we're seeing an augmented sixth employed in a manner that doesn't prepare the 5 chord, which is often overlooked in augmented sixth education. It's even to the point that some people will propose that this is a quote-unquote incorrect usage of the augmented sixth. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It sounds fantastic. This actually becomes quite popular in the Romantic period, so even though it might not be commonplace in earlier periods, that doesn't mean that it can't be embraced as convention. Anyways, perhaps you are still not convinced that this is an augmented sixth chord, and that it's simply an altered dominant, and augmented sixth should only remain in conjunction with the 5 chord. Well, let's go ahead and listen to the next example and see what it has to say. So we start off with the exact same harmonic information as before, A minor followed by E minor over G and then C major. When we get to measure 41, we hear that we no longer have a French augmented sixth because E has been replaced entirely by F, the fifth of B flat, which produces the German augmented sixth. Even in the melody, we see that the E is no longer sustained through the bar line, but has been raised to F. Now E does make an entrance, but that's more of a means to anticipate the forthcoming A minor harmony. Aside from this, we see that all of the resolutions remain exactly the same, except with F rather than E. So we could try and say that this is an E7, flat 5, flat 9, omit root over B flat, but we could also just embrace the fact that these are both augmented sixth chords. Don't get me wrong, it's totally fine to view this as an altered dominant function and explore your options with that and what that could imply, but to deny this as an example of the augmented sixth, it would be, in my opinion, a bit silly. And if Schubert is willing to use an augmented sixth in a place other than as a predominant to the 5 chord, I think we can embrace that as well. But hey, I could be totally wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I recommend you check out the rest of the piece and see what other information you can gather. One thing to consider is that this piece is written about a doppelganger. How is that element of the lead represented within the music? Is it a coincidence that we see almost identical cases of an augmented sixth that has been slightly tweaked? I'll let you investigate and decide. Anyways, we'll certainly be revisiting this piece in the near future as it contains numerous noteworthy examples. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions regarding this content. Otherwise, thank you for watching another episode of Music Theory with GUIM.